WNBA Finals. And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. You know, I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just, you know.
The WNBA just secured a mind-blowing $2.2 billion media rights deal, shattering every established record in the history of women's sports. Yet, the rookie phenom, directly responsible for this historic financial explosion, is making a base salary of just $76,000 for months. The mainstream sports media has been relentlessly pushing a picture-perfect narrative about the meteoric rise of women's basketball, giving all the credit to brilliant front office executives while praising the ownership groups for finally guiding the sport to the promised land. But behind closed corporate doors, a massive and highly calculated deception has been slowly unraveling. And the person standing right at the center of the crosshairs is none other than WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the professional hardwood, she didn't just bring a few extra casual fans to the arenas. No, she fundamentally altered the entire financial ecosystem of the game on a global scale. Millions of brand new viewers tuned in. Merchandise sold out in literally minutes across the country. And franchise valuations skyrocketed overnight from mere millions to massive 9-figure price tags. Yet, while the billionaire owners in the executive league office were quietly swimming in unprecedented cash, the players were being fed the exact same tired excuses they had been forced to swallow for over 2 decades. They were aggressively told the league was still heavily struggling, that ultimate profitability was just out of reach, and that they needed to remain quiet and patient for the good of the game. The truth, however, is finally leaking out to the public. The shocking details surrounding the current collective bargaining agreement reveal a carefully orchestrated scheme designed to keep the athletes completely in the dark while the executives cashed out at the highest possible peak. What is currently happening behind the scenes of the WNBA isn't just a simple standard contract dispute between labor and management. It is an absolute, brutal war for the future of the sport. And the commissioner's carefully crafted public image as a champion for women is beginning to violently crumble. But the financial manipulation actually started long before anyone even knew what the Clark effect actually was. And to understand the deception, you have to look at who is actually running the math. To fully grasp the sheer magnitude of the deception currently unfolding in the front office, you have to understand the specific corporate background of the woman pulling the strings at SO before Cathy Engelbert took over as the commissioner of the WNBA. She was the highly successful chief executive officer of Deloitte, one of the absolute largest and most ruthless accounting and financial consulting firms on the entire planet. She possesses a mind that is entirely wired for complex corporate structuring, navigating massive tax loopholes, and protecting billionaire assets at all costs. When she stepped into the commissioner role, she brought that exact same Wall Street mentality to a sports league that had spent 27 years aggressively claiming it was losing tens of millions of dollars every single season. For decades, the WNBA relied on a massive financial subsidy from the NBA just to keep the lights on. And the owners constantly used that supposed unprofitability as a weapon to suppress players' salaries and deny basic workplace benefits. But over the last few years, the math simply stopped making sense to anyone paying attention. The league began quietly expanding, bringing in massive ownership groups in completely new markets. The Golden State Valkyries, a brand new expansion franchise, reportedly paid a staggering $50 million expansion fee just for the right to enter the league. Shortly after, expansion groups in Toronto and Portland threw down identical massive mountains of cash to secure their own teams. If the league was truly bleeding money and entirely unprofitable, brilliant billionaire investors would not be lining up and fighting tooth and nail to hand over $50 million entry fees. The franchise valuations were secretly exploding behind the scenes. Yet, the players who were literally putting their bodies on the line every single night were still being told there wasn't enough money in the budget to guarantee them basic living wages. And Engelbert was utilizing her world-class accounting expertise to simultaneously sell a narrative of explosive growth to elite billionaire investors while legally pleading absolute poverty to the athletes who actually made the product valuable.